A very good evening. This is the Pngtv Live News Bulletin. I'm Belinda Cora. Mobile subscribers nationwide have until the 31st of July 2018 to register their SIM cards. This extension was allowed for by government following calls by the churches and the public in general, taking in consideration those affected by the devastating earthquake in the Highlands region. Over 1.3 million mobile users are still to register their SIM cards, according to recent statistics by the National Information and Communication Technology Authority. The National Court ruling recently also allows for NICTA to continue the deactivation process, which will now begin as of the 31st of July 2018.
Taking into account also that the APEC meeting is fast approaching, and I believe that by 31st of July, we will do no further extension, but we will cut SIM, unregistered SIM will be cut.
Supporting the process itself in cracking down on cybercrime in PNG, the PNG Council of Churches have also called on a better working relationship with mobile operators during this process.
Despite our close working partnership with NICTA in ensuring this as the way forward, our mobile operators said to say, unfortunately, let us down simply by not following the process we agreed to take, that is using the church's networks.
Having 2.5 million customers nationwide, Digital PNG says it will work at improving its efforts with the churches and has assured subscribers that it has 6,000 staff working hard to register all users.
We will do everything in our power to register our customers. We will go to every corners of the country. We are texting people on a regular basis.
NICTA is also concerned that statistics also reveal the low numbers of subscribers coming forward to register with mobile operators nationwide, especially in urban areas like NCD.
There is no reason why subscribers who are residing in urban centers should not be registered. We can only encourage and urge people to come forward, because at the end of the day, the subscribers have to blame themselves if they are not registered.
Mr. Basel has called on all service providers, including Telecom PNG and B-Mobile Vodafone, to comply and undertake this SIM card registration as an exercise and as a matter of urgency. Meanwhile, considering that the deadline is in 2 months' time, Madang MP Brian Kremer considers his court action no longer a matter of urgency and will revert to filing a Supreme Court reference seeking a judicial review of the SIM card registration and deactivation exercise. A 40-year-old Russian warship docked this morning on our shores upon invitation at the Port Moresby Harbour. PNG Defence Force Chief of Staff, PNGDF personnel and the media were present to witness the arrival, welcoming the cadets and the officers on board the ship who will be here for 3 days as part of their tour. Florida GULASENI with this update.
Over 200 Russian sailors arrived in Port Moresby today on a goodwill tour for the first time after 50 years in the modern history of both nations. The ship is on a 2-month-long mission that began in April and has included stopovers in Europe and Sri Lanka. The aim of their mission is to conduct exercises to train cadets in navigation. Chief of Staff of the PNG Defence Force, Captain Navy PHILLIP POLEWARA, was at the dock to welcome the ship that is of 40 years old and was given a tour by the captain of the ship.
It is a training ship, mainly for naval cadets. And along the journey, they have changes trainees. That's mainly around the Russian Baltic Sea and the Russian Sea. And then they came down Indian Ocean to exercise Commodore, and they're passing through back up to Russia to Vladivostok.
According to analysts, the move indicates that Russia is increasingly interested in the country-based 100 personnel in Indonesia's Papua province and flew 2 nuclear-capable Tu-9 bombers over the South Pacific on the first training mission, there for a few days in 2017. The 7,000-ton Pericop training ship is armed with anti-submarine rockets and anti-aircraft guns.
They've been here, if you look at the map, people have this mentality that Russia is a European power. But when you look at the map, part of Russia is also in the Pacific, like Vladivostok. It is a Pacific, Russian Pacific port. So Russia is also in the Pacific.
Given the tour, Captain POLEWARA adds that with their visitation, Papua New Guinea Navy will gain a lot in terms of navigation in its different forms, and we can also show them what our country is like.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I said, Port Moresby is only a sample of Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is made up of 850 nations. That means there's 850 different things from language onwards.
The sailors will be in Port Moresby for 3 days and will engage in friendly activities with the Papua New Guinea Defence Force within the next few days. Florida GULASENI, Pngtv Live.
Having the best IT system in place that is user-friendly and cost-efficient are the biggest sought-after components for anyone who is running a business in Papua New Guinea. The Investment Promotion Authority has this week stepped forward after it announced its new feature in its ORD or online registry service, cloud hosting. IPA registry services went online in 2013, allowing clients and visitors to gain access to what is available in PNG. Acting Registrar for Companies at IPA, Harriet Kokiva, says an estimated 200,000 companies, including business groups and associations, have been registered at the IPA, and a new cloud storage will enable IPA to offer quality service to clients.
In terms of capacity, our capacity is enough to maintain the registries, processes and all that. Our biggest challenge was just last year when we were having downtime and on the system issues, and it caused a lot of, it had a lot of implications on our processes, and we had a lot of work to do.
She says, unlike before, IPA has now been able to remain accessible by those who need their services.
Like in the past, we received correspondences through mails, and it will take time for us to respond. Now it's on email. Everybody knows us. Our names are, our contacts are on public, so we get emails. And we get lots of follow-ups.
An automatic compliance program will soon allow all companies to be automatically updated in the area of compliance and monitoring.
And we'll be also enhancing it as well for them to access it better and access services better. And for compliance, I'd like to reach out for our companies to start filing their annual returns, because once after the upgrade and when the automated system compliance program is switched on, those companies can be automatically deregistered.
IPA will continue to improve its technology in the months ahead in order to improve customer service mechanisms. Food security has become an increasing concern amongst APAC economies, including Papua New Guinea, given the worsening impacts of climate change. The 2018 APAC Food Security Week in August will be focused on enhancing food security and sustainable agriculture through ICT in response to climate change, promoting women in agriculture and fisheries, and sustainable fisheries management and development. Quintin Anaime with this update.
Is now preparing to host the Food Security Week to be held during the APAC 3rd Senior Officials Meeting from the 4th to the 10th of August. It will be jointly hosted by the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, or DAL, PNG National Fisheries Authority, and APAC Business Advisory Council. The Food Security Week will implement activities in line with the goal and objectives of the APAC Food Security Roadmap 2020, which is the principal food security plan for APAC economies. DAL Secretary Dr. VELE ILA'AVA highlights PNG has a great opportunity by hosting APAC in welcoming investors who will be interested in PNG's agriculture potential, and they will be looking for investment opportunities.
I think this is an opportunity for our farmers, opportunity for our people involved in the food business. To step up and show the rest of the world during the APEC Food Security Week and following weeks and that we have a very good products, high quality products, and it's now time to market them better and then get them exposed. I think the biggest thing is exposure.
DAL Food Security Director Brown Konabe reveals during the 2018 APEC meetings, PNG is focused on 3 areas, namely food security, climate, and gender inclusiveness, to engage in productive and sustainable food systems.
During the PVFS meeting in Somwan, which is chaired, we were focusing around those 3 areas. So the 3 specific policy initiatives we're focusing on is the one that you mentioned, ICT, food security and climate change, women, culture and fisheries. So these are the 2 policy initiatives that captures those three areas.
DAL calls on its stakeholders and partners and the private sector for their cooperation in organizing and hosting a successful Food Security Week during APEC SOM 3. The Food Security Week theme is engaging in productive and sustainable food systems. Quintina Naime, Pngtv Live.
You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. The Mineral Resource Authority has a new acting managing director whose appointment was announced today. Mr. Nathan Mosusu's appointment was officially announced by Mining Minister Johnson Tuke. Quintin and Naime with this update.
Thanking the current government in the confidence in him, the new acting managing director wasted no time in announcing his plans and focus on the months ahead. Mr. Mosusu says the MRA has an important role to play in the development of PNG, with the mining sector generating over 60% of the country's revenue. Amongst his focus in the next coming weeks is the progress discussions on MOAs, continuing discussions on Frida and Wafi Golpu, and working with stakeholders in the sector on various projects. He says to get these tasks done, the government's support is very much needed. He has also urged the staff at the authority to continue to work on various ongoing programs and to work as a team. Quintina Naime, Pngtv Live.
The Chief Executive Officer of Credit Corporation PNG, Peter Aitsi, has been appointed to the boards of the Credit Corporation finance companies operating in Fiji and Solomon Islands. The regional appointments coincide with the approval of the fit and proper requirements by the Bank of Papua New Guinea, formalizing the process of his appointment as CEO of the Credit Corporation Group. Following his appointment, Mr. Aitsi's focus is to drive improved performance and returns from the various parts of the business, finance, property, and investment. He says provincial and regional presence is very much an asset and aims to fully capitalize the company's potential going forward for the benefit of shareholders and clients. Another significant event which will be marked in 2018 will be the celebration of 40 years of existence for Credit Corporation. Credit Corporation was one of first Papua New Guinean companies to expand into the Pacific, setting up an office in Suva, Fiji in 1992. It then established operations in Solomon Islands and Vanuatu in 2007. Papua New Guinea is looking forward to expanding opportunities with the Republic of Philippines for bilateral agreement in agriculture. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has begun an official state tour to the Philippines, where he will discuss a number of emerging bilateral opportunities between the two countries. Quintin and Naime with this update.
The visit will include a number of formal events with the President of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, and meetings with technical experts in areas that include rice production. One of the most important elements in this visit will be to discuss opportunities for technical support from the Philippines to grow rice in Papua New Guinea. Prime Minister O'Neill highlights the Philippines is a world leader in rice cultivation, and they are interested to work with Papua New Guinea to expand our production. Mr. O'Neill reveals in rice trials conducted by Philippines agricultural experts, they have found PNG soil can yield double the rice per hectare that is possible in many countries in Southeast Asia. This is because the soil is extremely fertile and for the most part has never been used for commercial agriculture or been exposed to pesticides. The Prime Minister adds that two countries share a very warm history that continues to grow as greater technical and cultural exchange takes place. Engagement between Papua New Guinea and the Philippines go back to the 1800s when Filipino missionaries accompanied European Catholic priests to live with our people. Prime Minister O'Neill says, as nation-states, we have had diplomatic relations for 43 years, and it is important that we continue to strengthen our engagement. He revealed there are more than 35,000 Filipinos living in PNG, making them largest group of expatriates in Papua New Guinea. Many Filipinos provide services in sectors that include healthcare and education, as well as working in many businesses. Prime Minister O'Neill today officially laid a wreath on the Rizal Monument at the Rizal Park in Manila to honor the memory of Jose Rizal, a patriot who was executed on Bagum Bayan Field on December 30th, 1896. This monument is dedicated by the people of the Philippine Islands. The Prime Minister's official state visit to the Philippines concludes on 17th May 2018. Quintina Naime, PNGTV Live.
You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching Pngtv Live News Bulletin. Stigma, discrimination and violence rampant amongst key populations adds to high transmission rates of HIV and sexually transmitted infections. In Papua New Guinea, HIV and STI rates are among the highest in the world, and population level estimates for these groups were unknown until a study was carried out by the PNG Institute of Medical Research. The report of the study was successfully launched this week at the National AIDS Council, revealing alarming statistics. Florida GULASENI with this update.
With marginalized key populations most vulnerable to HIV and STIs, like female sex workers, men with diverse sexualities, or transgender women, are the most impacted by the HIV epidemic world over. Minister for Health and HIV, Sir Dr. Pngtv, who officially launched the report, says the new study is the first comprehensive integrated biobehavior survey of its kind in Papua New Guinea.
These results unfortunately highlight probably a little bit more than what we had already known. And we need to have the conversation about.
He adds, with this report, the provincial health reforms is the direction the nation is going to take, and he will look closely to support such studies, but will need the strategic costs.
What is this total package that we are looking at with regards to the burden of the disease that we have? I think that's also very, very important for us, and this study is helping us to determine those things more accurately.
Minister Temu adds the study was rolled out in only 3 areas, Lae, Mount Hagen and Port Moresby, and he would like to see this rolled out around the country.
It should be just a one-off. This should not be one-off. We should have an institutional process like the demographic and health survey, like the population surveys. We should have institutionally allowed funding so that, say, every 2-3 years.
Men of diverse sexualities and transgenders do not seek health care, get tested for HIV or STIs, and do not wear condoms due to stigma and discrimination and violence they face on a frequent basis. He adds, with this report, the government agencies and stakeholders will now work together to create and enable an environment for key populations to access services without fear. Florida GULASENI, Pngtv Live.
Former Vice-Chancellor of Unitec, Dr. Albert Schramm, today lodged an urgent bail application to the National Court through his lawyer Greg Munda. of Greg Manda lawyers after the bail conditions imposed on him by the Waigani Committal Court. Schramm is seeking the court's approval in allowing him to travel to Italy to bring back his original doctorate documentation as evidence of his PhD qualification in contesting his charge of false pretense. Kaligan Tanda with this update.
Greg Manda appeared on behalf of his client today before Justice Ere Kariko to seek permission from the court to relax the bail conditions of his client, particularly that concerning the surrendering of his passport to authorities. Manda made the application under Section 23, subsection 1 of the Bail Act, which provides for persons granted bail to leave the country for a temporary period before the commencement of proceedings. The provision also gives power to the National Court and Supreme Courts to exercise this power, which the Waigani District Court lacked, and therefore the matter was raised this morning. Justice Kariko made several remarks regarding the circumstances surrounding Schramm's case. He stated that from reading the affidavit submitted, the allegations raised in 2010 were that Schramm had produced a copy of his PhD, which was allegedly a fake, and yet it had taken almost 8 years to charge him. Kariko remarked that any criminal case must have primary evidence before a person can be charged, and now Schramm had to travel out of the country to obtain an authentic document. Thus he warned that the police must have a strong case, as he was only raising issues which he considered could lead to serious breaches of human rights. The judge added that the case had very serious implications, considering that while Schramm had served as Vice-Chancellor for Unitec from 2012 till his sidelining in February this year, Papua New Guineans had received degrees under him. Kariko further stated that this also came back to the due diligence process of recruiting foreign professionals by the university. In considering that the matter was an urgent application and that the prosecution had yet to be served documents, and that prosecutor David Covey from the Public Prosecutor's Office was not familiar with the details, Kariko has adjourned the matter to 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. Kalagantanda, Pngtv Live.
And to some sporting news, the second game of the Round 6 Digicel Cup competition at the Oil Search Football Stadium over the weekend saw the two heavyweight teams battle it out for a win. From the Highlands, the Enga Mioks, who still atop the ladder, went up against fellow Hela Wigmen to win this round. Florida Gulaseni with this update.
The Enga Mioks kick-started a match awaited by spectators in the Hela Wigmen fearless to face them head-on. Just 10 minutes into the first half, Wigmen Enoch Kewa pressed for an impressive score with an unsuccessful conversion from Stanley Olo, placing them in the lead with 4 points. Wigmen, continuing their strong defense, missed a turn, seeing Mioks captain Supa Kokote score with a successful conversion from Roger Leka, placing them in the lead with 6 points. Mioks picked up again without hesitation, seeing Robert Coronu's score, followed by a conversion from Laka, moving the Mioks up to 12 points. Commencing second half saw the Mioks wanting more as they faced the Wigmen, seeing Woods Kewage score, followed by a successful conversion from Laka, moving the Mioks up to a commanding 18 points, leaving the Wigmen trail behind with 4 points. As Wigmen fought back hard with a solid defense, their very own Stanford Talita took the opportunity and scored with a successful conversion from Paul Nelson, moving them up 10 points to 18. Just minutes after scoring, Wigmen's Richard Tuweo scored with an unsuccessful conversion from Olo, moving the Wigmen up 14 points to 18. With the battle against time and a hope to score more, full-time saw the Mioks win with a score of 18 points to 14. Florida Gulaseni, Pngtv Live.
And that's where we end the bulletin for this evening. More at 7 o'clock tomorrow. From myself and the news team, it's good night.